Yoriichi Tsugikuni, the strongest demon slayer, the one who defeated Muzan and the inventor of all breathing techniques, was born with his twin brother Michikatsu in the Sengoku era. At that time, twins were considered to be a grave omen, but he was also born with a strange birthmark on his forehead. But this mark was not an ordinary mark, it was a demon slayer mark, which gives him immense strength, speed, stamina, and abilities such as see-through world, selfless state, and ability to turn your sword bright red. But at that time, nobody knows what that mark was, so his father decided to kill him.
But his mother got furious and stopped his father.
Then it was decided he would be sent to a temple to become a monk when he turned 10 years old. Yoriichi grew up very differently from Michikatsu, being given much poorer food and education than his brother and confined to a small room away from the rest of the house. He never spoke and was thought to be deaf. As a result, his mother made him Hanafuda charm earrings in the hopes that gods would bless him with the ability to speak. He was also frequently seen clutching to his mother's side. Because of this, Michikatsu found him pitiful, but still he often snuck behind their father's back to see Yoriichi, and even giving him a handmade flute as a gift to comfort him. When Yoriichi was 7 years old, he smiled and spoke for the first time, declaring his intent to become a samurai like his brother after watching Michikatsu practice sword swings. However, Michikatsu was dismissive of this sentiment, as it was well known that Yoriichi would be sent to the temple when he turns 10. Still, one of their father's men tasked with training Michikatsu decided to show him a simple stance. Unexpectedly, the young boy flew into action and landed 4 blows against the man and shocking his brother, who despite his training had never landed even a single blow. However, Yoriichi couldn't stand the feeling of hitting someone and renounced his goal to become a samurai. Michikatsu often asked him about how he managed to hit the man, and he described was likely an early form of a breathing style. When their mother passed away from her illness, Yoriichi went to Michikatsu's room at night to tell his brother the news and bid him farewell. Planning to leave for the temple that night, he expressed gratitude towards his brother, stating that he would always keep him in mind. It was later revealed to Michikatsu through their mother's diary that Yoriichi had known everything about their mother's illness and how it weakened her left side, and Yoriichi's frequent attempts to support her and help her move around. It was also revealed that Yoriichi knew his father would make him his heir due to his newfound sword skills and send Michikatsu to the temple. Because of this, Yoriichi ran away from the house. Despite this kind act, Michikatsu developed an intense hatred and envy of Yoriichi for continuing to surpass him in everything and continuously showing gratitude. After running straight for 1 day and 1 night without any sign of exhaustion, Yoriichi met a girl around the same age named Yuta, whose entire family had died, so Yoriichi chose to live with her, and after 10 years Yuta and Yoriichi got married. After some time, Yuta became pregnant, and before the expected arrival, Yoriichi left home to summon a midwife, promising his wife to be back before the sunset. On his way, Yoriichi had to help an old man and lost so much time that he decided to return home and summon a midwife the next day. By then the sun had already set. When he finally arrived home, he found that Yuta and the unborn child were killed by a demon. The tragedy shocked Yoriichi so much that he held her corpse in his arms for 10 days straight, and only buried them after a pursuing demon slayer encouraged him to do so. This led Yoriichi to pick up his blade again and become a demon slayer. Aided by his demon slayer mark and innate talent for swordsmanship, Yoriichi proved to be an incredibly powerful demon slayer. He also reunites with Michikatsu after his encampment was slaughtered by a demon, but he and his family was left the sole survivor because Yoriichi protected them and killed the creature effortlessly with his breathing technique, later named sun breathing. Yoriichi tried to teach sun breathing to other demon slayers, however no one could match his form exactly, so he modified the breathing techniques to suit their strengths, allowing them to gain a similar increase in powers and abilities to help them hunt demons. The variations he created formed the first water, wind, flame, stone, and thunder breathing techniques, and the best of these demon slayers became known as the Hashira. Michikatsu himself tried and failed to learn sun breathing, instead creating his own style, which he named moon breathing. Soon Yoriichi encounters Muzan, progenitor of all demons, and mortal enemy of the demon slayers, accompanied by Tamayo. Upon meeting him, Yoriichi felt his rampant malicious intent. It was then when he reasoned he was born with the skills and talent to defeat Muzan once and for all. Muzan stated that he had lost interest in swordsmen and performed long sweeps of his arms to outright kill Yoriichi. He dodged them but instantly realized any of those attacks would be fatal and felt fear for the first time. Seeing into the transparent world, Yoriichi discerned Muzan had 7 hearts and 5 brains that can change position within his body. Seeing his chance, he combined all his forms into a single attack, cutting through all of his hearts and brains and overpowering Muzan completely. Muzan was left in disbelief at his inability to regenerate. While struggling to keep his head attached, Yoriichi asked him what he felt was the value of life, but didn't receive an answer. Instead, he turned to Tamayo, but was surprised to see her looking at her master's dismembered body with a hopeful gleam in her eyes. Then Yoriichi turned to Muzan to kill him for once and for all, but he heard the sound of teeth cracking as Muzan's body burst into hundreds of small pieces. Caught off guard, he was only able to destroy 1,500 of the 1,800 pieces, leaving the rest to escape for Muzan to regenerate again. After this, Yoriichi approaches Tamayo, and she told him everything he needed to know about Muzan, and then he let Tamayo free. In spite of Yoriichi's failure to kill him, Muzan never forgot the encounter and remained fearful of Yoriichi for the rest of his life, and the wounds he received from Yoriichi never fully healed. Soon after this, several demon slayers got a report that Yoriichi's brother had betrayed the organization and become a demon. Yoriichi took responsibility for Michikatsu's betrayal, his inability to kill Muzan, and letting Tamayo escape, so the other demon slayers demanded he kill himself as punishment, but the newly appointed Oyakata prevented him from doing so and allowing him to leave in banishment. After that, he went to his friends Sumiyoshi and Suyako because he had much on his mind and wanted someone to talk to. They sat down with Yoriichi and he told him his entire story from the beginning to his banishment from the demon slayers. While with the Kamados, Yoriichi would be asked to perform the sun-breathing's forms. He performed all the moves with such grace he was more like a spirit than a human. Sumiyoshi would watch this demonstration and keep them in his memories. On his last day with Kamados, Yoriichi gave Sumiyoshi his own Hanafuda earrings. Sumiyoshi realized that this was going to be the last time he will ever see him. Overcome with emotion, Sumiyoshi called out to Yoriichi as he walked away, calling him that Yoriichi saved them and he promised to preserve the sun-breathing's forms in form of Hinukami Kagura through his descendants. Hearing this, Yoriichi turns and smiles brightly, thanking the Kamados and waving them farewell. Despite the apparently limited lifespan of 25 years suffered by those who bore the Demon Slayer mark, Yoriichi lived till his 80s, but eventually went blind as he continued slaying demons. On the last day of his life, he would personally confront Michikatsu, now known as Upper Moon 1 Kokoshibo. Devastated at what his brother had become, he cried, and Kokoshibo could only show disgust that his younger brother was old but still alive despite having the mark. In spite of his love for his brother, Yoriichi knew he had to kill him. When he prepared to strike, Kokoshibo's disgust turned to fear upon seeing that he was the same capable and powerful warrior from before. He sliced through his neck, without Kokoshibo able to even draw his blade. Angered at being surpassed again, Kokoshibo waited for the next attack. Unfortunately, it never came. Yoriichi passes from old age. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.